Hi everyone, welcome to Cognify. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at some algebraic equations, right? So we'll be factorizing a few expressions and simplifying a few as well. Okay. So now this is broken down into 1.1 and 1.2. So in 1.1, we'll be factorizing the following expressions. So we go to the first one, right? So now for the first one, we are given x squared minus x. So now to factorize this, right, we just need to look at the common term between the two. And we can see here that the common term is what? X. So we can take out x, okay? So the highest power here that we can take out, right, is x to the 1 because that's common in both these terms here. So when we take that x out, what we remain with is x to the power of 1 minus 1. Okay. So now you can confirm this by going in the opposite direction and multiplying these terms out. You should get these two. So now the next question, we have 3x squared plus 3px minus 2mx minus 2mp. So now here we just need to separate some terms, right? We can see here with 3x squared, okay, we can see these two here have a common term, which is 3x. And with the other side, with 2mx and 2np, we can see 2m is a common term, right? So this part here and this part here is common. So we can remove that, okay? So now let us go ahead and do it. So now for the first one, right, the common term here is 3x. So we can take out 3x. Now what is left? Whatever is left, we put it inside the bracket. So that will be x plus p. Okay. Now for the next one, we're going to remove minus 2m. Okay. Once we do that, what's left? It's going to be x plus p. What you'll notice here is that we've got another situation here where there's a common factor, okay, or common term, which is x plus p. Now we can remove that, okay, and separate it from each of these terms here. So what we'll have here is 3x, okay, because we're removing this x plus p. So this 3x will be grouped with minus 2m. So we'll have minus 2m. So whatever is left is x plus p, which is what we are factoring out. And that is basically it, okay? So this gives you an idea on how to tackle such questions. You just have to look for common terms. And next question, in question 1.1.3, we are given 2p squared minus 2p minus 12. Okay, so now we can start off by factoring out 2, which is a common factor, right? So if we take out 2, we're left with p squared minus p minus 6. Okay, so now we'll be factorizing what's inside the bracket. So now for this one here, right, it's going to be p minus 3 and p plus 2. Some of you may be wondering, how do you go about getting these factors here? So there's a method that you can use. Okay, so you're going to be taking, we go here, right? We're going to take the coefficient in front of p squared, which is 1. We're going to put it up there. And this constant here, 6. So now we get its factors, 1 and 1. So the possible factors for 6 are 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. Okay. The reason why I'm going to be choosing 3 and 2 is because at the end, right, once we cross multiply and add, we need to get to a number that's represented by the coefficient in front of p, which is 1. Okay, but we're going to take its sign as well. So -1, we put that down there. So now if we break this factor of 6 into 3 and 2, we then cross multiply. We'll have 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom. We then assign a negative to the 3 and a positive to the 2. Once we do that, we then transpose these signs. So now this here becomes x minus 3, right? Which is this part here. And then 1 plus 2 is basically x plus 2, which is this part here. Sorry, p plus 2. So you see with this one, you're on the left, right? Whenever you break it up, okay, it's going to be in terms of whatever variable you're dealing with. So in this case, it's going to be p, okay? So some of you may know of this method, but it's good to go through this to just to revise through some methods, right, that you can utilize. So now let's go to the next part, right? So in the next part, we'll be doing a bit of simplification, right? So in 1.2.1, we are given 2 to the power of a plus 1 minus 2 to the power of a minus 1. And all of that is divided by 2 to the power of a. So we want to simplify here, right? So let's break up these two here at the top. So we'll have 2 to the power of a times 2 to the power of 1. You're using laws of exponents here. Minus 2 to the a times 2 to the minus 1. So all I did was separate these powers here, right? So that we can see them clearly. And then this will be 2 to the power of a. So what you'll notice here is that in the numerator, we've got a common term. Okay. We've got 2a here and 2a here. So we can factorize that out. Yeah. So now we'll have 2 to the power of a, open bracket. What is left here is going to be 2 minus what's going to be left here is 2 to the negative 1, which is a half. Okay. All of this divided by 2 to the power of a. So now what you'll notice here is that 2 to the a can cancel out with 2 to the a. Once that is done, we can then simplify this to 2 minus a half, which is equal to 3 over 2. And that is basically it for that question, right? So as you saw, we just took a step-by-step approach. We didn't rush through it. We just broke it up. And then at the end, everything just aligns. So now with the last question, we have x squared minus x plus 1. And that we divide by x cubed plus 1 divided by 2x divided by 2x plus 2. So there's a few things I want to go through first, right? So what you'll notice here is that we've got x cubed plus 1 here in the denominator, right? And the expectation here is to break up some of these terms so that we can cancel out and simplify it. So now with x cubed plus 1, there is a formula that you can use to factorize this, right? Which is defined as, so if you have an expression written as this, right? This here, so a cubed plus b cubed. This can then be written as, when we break it up, right, can be written as a squared minus ab plus b squared. Okay, so now if we look at the one we are given here, right, that can be written as x cubed plus 1 cubed, right, because 1 to the power of 3 is 1. And this can be written as what? X squared minus ab is basically the coefficient here, right? So it's 1. It's going to be 1 times x, okay? 1 times x because this here is A and this here is B. So that will be minus X. And then lastly, P is 1. And that is basically how you break this up. Okay. So now that we have that covered, we can then proceed, right? So we'll have x squared minus x plus 1 divided by, so this part here, right? What you need to keep in mind, there's one part that I'd missed out. So we'll have a plus b, okay? Because once you multiply these out, your highest power here has to be 3, okay? So we do the same here. It's going to be x plus 1. So now we have that, right? So in the denominator here, we'll have x plus 1, then x squared minus x plus 1. So now for this part here, you see we're dividing, right? But we can turn that into multiplication by flipping this around, okay? So we'll have 2x plus 2 in the numerator, but we're just going to factor out 2. So it's going to be x plus 1. So this part is this here. And then we divide by 2x. So now what you'll notice here, right, is that this 2 will cancel out with that. And this x plus 1 will cancel out with that. And this will cancel with that. So now this simplifies our expression, okay? So at the end, what we'll end up with is 1 over x. And that is basically it. So the methods that we have applied here is just a step-by-step process, right? Where we analyze the given expression and see how can we simplify it further, okay? And the best way to do it is to factorize it. So keep in mind of this formula here. It can become very useful, okay? But that will be all for this session. Thanks for joining and till next time.